Gentlemen, good evening. I'm Tony Harris, the Chief of Media and Community Relations for the Alabama Department of Transportation. I'll serve as moderator for tonight's public meeting. Now, with more people assembled in the room and we're making the announcement next door that the public forum portion of tonight's meeting is beginning, we'll go ahead and begin now. In addition to over a dozen staff members from the Department of Transportation who are present tonight to assist with the open house and the public forum, I'd like to introduce the person to my immediate right. She's Division Engineer Dee Rowe. We hope to be joined in just the next few minutes by Transportation Director John Cooper. He's traveling to Tuscaloosa from another meeting across the state, and we expect him to be arriving just in the next few minutes. Tonight's open house and public forum are intended to provide additional information to the public about the proposed Tuscaloosa Eastern Bypass project and to gather information and comments from the public as part of the environmental reevaluation. Elsewhere in the building, an open house will continue until at least 8 p.m. tonight. During the open house meeting, you can review project information and maps, ask questions, and discuss the project with ALDOT staff. Our public forum is designed to give you an opportunity to share your comments for review and consideration by the Department of Transportation. Public involvement helps ALDOT consider important issues and concerns and helps ensure the most complete reevaluation possible for the environmental documents associated with ALDOT projects. We encourage you, even if you share your comments during this public forum, to also provide your comments in writing on the comment form that's available tonight. Because your time during the public forum is limited to 2 minutes, the comment form allows for greater elaboration and detail to be provided, and additional pages of comments can be attached to the comment forms to allow you to more fully express your comments. As a third option for making comments, a recorder is available in a separate room if you didn't sign up to speak in the public forum or if you choose not to provide written comments. This public forum will provide a 2-minute period of time for you to share your comments about the project and the reevaluation. This forum is not a question and answer session. If you still have questions or need additional information, ALDOT representatives remain available both now and after this public forum for one-on-one discussions with you. Before we proceed, I'd like to have some comments from 5th Division Engineer Dee Rowe to provide an overview of the East Bypass project. Dee?
Thank you, Tony. Just in brief, is in the way of a description of what the project is, the Tuscaloosa Eastern Bypass is a denied access 4-lane divided roadway that will connect US 82 on the north side to the Warrior River, from the north side of the Warrior River to I-20, I-59, at approximately mile point 78 there on the interstate. Denied access meaning similar to what you would see in the way of an interstate, and so that there are no roadways intersecting at grade with it. Everything would be, any interchange would be that, an interchange. So in brief, that's the description, and I see that Mr. Cooper has just arrived.
We've been joined by Transportation Director John Cooper, and we'll continue with the public forum. To begin, any elected holders of local, state, or federal government offices or their representatives will be given an opportunity to share their comments. We ask that you also please keep your comments at or less than 2 minutes. Our timekeeper will use a traffic signal to provide a visual cue as speakers move through their comments. It'll turn to the yellow color when you have 30 seconds remaining, and to red at the conclusion of your time. Court reporters, are you ready? Okay. We had hoped Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox would be able to join us tonight, but instead Mayor Maddox is represented by Tuscaloosa City Engineer Joe Robinson. Joe, after your welcome comments, feel free to share your comments about the project, and after your welcome comments, when you begin speaking about the project, your 2 minutes will begin.
Thank you. Thank you. Mayor Maddox was called from the White House earlier this week, and he has returned from Washington, but now he's on another trip, so he could not be here today. But he has asked me to come here and welcome you to Tuscaloosa. Mr. Cooper, glad you could come. I hope congestion on McFarland wasn't the reason why you were late.
No.
Oh, good. Okay.
No, it's congestion further east.
Well, good. All right. I'm going to start my 2 minutes. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on the need for the Tuscaloosa Eastern Bypass, which is short for TEB. The formal request for a corridor study for the TEB began in 1989 when the city and the state jointly entered into an agreement to improve the two intersections, Jack Warner Parkway and Rice Mine Road, on each side of McFarland Boulevard Bridge. In 1988, over 150 accidents were recorded in the section of McFarland Boulevard between Rice Mine Road and Jack Warner Parkway. During the design time of the improvements to the two intersections, the city and state realized that within 15 years, the McFarland Bridge and sections of McFarland Boulevard would reach level of service F during several hours of the day. Thus, the city and the state began conversations of a new roadway section, which became known as the TEB. One section of the TEB, the Paul Bryant Bridge, was built and opened to traffic several years ago. As predicted, the opening of the Bryant Bridge has relieved traffic congestion on the McFarland Bridge. However, has not relieved any of the traffic congestion on the other portions of McFarland Boulevard. Traffic volumes have continued to increase on McFarland Boulevard and in many of the intersecting streets, and as predicted in 1989, levels of service F are a reality several hours of the day. It is no surprise that a majority of the top 10 accident locations in the city are on McFarland Boulevard or on locations that are directly affected by the congestion on McFarland. Besides the accident numbers, congestion, delays, and the resulting air pollution numbers are also increasing. As city engineer and speaking for the city of Tuscaloosa, I urge the state of Alabama to approve the environmental impact statement and begin construction on other portions of the TEB. If my count is correct, the state has had 13 public hearings on the TEB. We have heard the same arguments, pro and con, several times over. Every question raised has been addressed. State officials have listened to and acted upon every comment and have done a thorough job of investigating every environmental issue. It is time to build the Tuscaloosa Eastern Bypass. It is my understanding that the TEB is one of the Governor Bentley's top 3 highway priorities. I am pleased that Governor Bentley recognizes the immediate need of the TEB. Once again, the TEB has been studied for over 20 years. Every imaginable question has been asked and addressed. It is time to finally approve the environmental impact statement and commence construction on the rest of the TEB.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is State Senator Gerald Allen. Senator Allen, you have a 2-minute time limit, sir.
I understand, and I do not have a prepared statement. Certainly, to follow Joe Robinson, I just want to say that he brought out a lot of good, positive comments. And like I said, of the last public hearing that you had in Northport, which was sometimes last fall, wasn't it? Let's go. December. There's no secret that's what's taking place in Tuscaloosa. And Tuscaloosa is the gateway to West Alabama. Of course, our county, Tuscaloosa, sits around, Fayette, Walker, Pickens, Bibb, Green. So we've got a lot of traffic that's coming inside Tuscaloosa County, causing some terrible types of traffic issues and for the local citizens. So one of the things that I feel like is so important is the state of Alabama, not only the state, but the federal government has a tremendous investment already in this project. And so let me just encourage you and thank each of you for all the work that you've done and the impact that this is going to have on West Alabama, because West Alabama is the economic engine of this part of the state as far as Tuscaloosa goes. And It's one of those kind of things where you have a institution like the University of Alabama and Stillman College and Shelton State Junior College, and as you have noticed in the past year, the tremendous growth has taken place. So as Tuscaloosa grows because of being where it's at, being the economic engine, then we're going to certainly see some traffic issues. I'm here today to thank each of you for the work you've done to pursue this project, and we're looking forward to your late 13, early 14 to see some real good positive progress and see this project come to light. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. Would you slide our light back a little bit so that I can see the colors as well?
That's good, right there.
That's good. Get the angle it up. That way I'll be able to see the colors a little bit. Thank you. Are there any other elected representatives here who would like to speak? Okay, seeing none, we'll continue with the public forum. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause between speakers so we can move through the public forum the best way we can. In order to move through the public forum, let me remind you this is not a question and answer session. If you have specific questions, you can address those with the project staff now or after the public forum. And I'll review some additional procedures about how the forum will be conducted. As you arrived tonight, you had the opportunity to sign up to make comments. We'll use these cards to call you in order. In signing up, you've agreed to follow our ground rules. Tonight's public forum is being audio and video recorded and transcribed by court reporters. We've reminded you about the 2-minute time limit. You've seen how that process works. Now that I can see the light a little bit better, when you reach your cue of 30 seconds, I'll try to call audibly so that you have an audible cue as well. If you have comments that go beyond what can be shared in the allotted 2-minute time limit, please use a comment form to submit your additional comments in writing. Time is not transferable from one speaker to another. Profanity and personal attacks won't be allowed. Please hold your applause, as we said, and other noise from the audience so we can move through efficiently. And when you begin making your comments, please first state your name, your address, any group affiliation. You can just give your hometown, but any group affiliation you may have if you're representing a group. And to avoid repetitiveness and to make the most efficient use of our time available, if you're called upon and you agree with comments previously expressed, you can let us know that and waive some of your time. We'll continue as through those who have signed up, and at the end of our final signed up speaker, a brief period will ensue, and we'll ensure late arrivals have the opportunity to be heard before we conclude. Comment forms in our recorders will remain available until 8 o'clock. As a final reminder, the period for submitting written comments runs through 5 o'clock Monday, April the 16th. That's a 30-day comment period where we'll receive written comments. Now to begin tonight's public forum, I call as our first speaker Mr. Alan Ambrose.
My name is William Allen Ambrose. I'm a certified respiratory therapist, and I reside at 6314 Green Acres Drive. Just hope you're ready, because I'm going to have to fly through this stuff. It's not fair to individuals who bought their homes because of their pristine locations to invade that privacy. It is not fair to infringe upon their rights to live in an environment free from air, noise, and water pollution, pollutants that always travel in the wake of undertakings such as this one. It has been proposed that in order to avoid an issue like this, the individual is given the choice to relocate. It is written that the individual will be compensated on a fair estimate and the fair market value provided by a claims adjuster and offered a price from the discussion. But let's discuss for a moment some scenarios that focus on emphasizing the finer parts of this so-called option. Option 1, stay. Is it fair to homeowners who are unable or unwilling to move to be subjected to pollution and or witness the degradation and exponential decline of their private environment, one of both of which is in decline? Those people that spent time and effort developing into their personal space, if both of those in support and those who are opposed refuse to budge on this issue, why is it that only those in opposition be punished? Option 2, relocate. Is it fair to ask an individual who's unwilling to abandon the home they built for themselves for any amount of money? Is it fair that the monetary compensation offered to console that grief and make up for any inconvenience will be done so by an estimated value of the estate, and given in a time where this country is in a recession and the climate of the real estate market is at the lowest point it has ever been? What about moving expenses, house hunting, and time required off work? Have these factors been considered? My home has a value, but this land is priceless. If you want to truly compromise, bottom dollar is not the best place to start negotiations. Option 3, wait and see. Is it fair to homeowners who bought the homes because of their pristine location to threaten that integrity? If the project is finished as planned and only part of the property's value is required, is it fair to those same homeowners to eliminate their ability to get a fair price for their homes after the fact, should they decide to leave after the project is completed? With the real estate market in turmoil, homeowners are currently awarded the privilege of marketing their homes based on its location. But if the bypass is built, that same location that was once an advantage will now depreciate the value. So tell me, where's the fairness in that?
Thank you. Our next speaker is Corey Stevens.
Hey, I'm Corey Stevens. I live 6314 Green Acres Drive is over there, 216. I don't have a speech written, but there's a few points I want to make. This commission was given, we are given a lot of money to research and all this kind of stuff, but there was never anybody that knocked on my door to tell me this is coming through. I heard through word of mouth about all these meetings. I don't think the information was given to the people in the area very well at all. I think that it could have easily, and it wouldn't cost very much money for someone to go door to door and to show the individuals. There's a lot of people that are in their homes right now that might not know about the meeting, but might not care to come up here. That they need to know, and I don't think that was addressed. And I think the whole plan for this road to relieve traffic, I don't think that building extra roads relieves traffic. I mean, you're just going to have more people coming in, and it's going to be more congestion. And I know y'all want to see this area being developed. I don't think Tuscaloosa needs to grow outwardly. It's just not a good plan. There's going to be a lot of places. I mean, look at University Mall is starting to dwindle down from the new mall they build, and then you got McFarland Mall that's like abandoned. When you start spreading the city out, the inside of the city starts getting voided, and it doesn't really help traffic. It's the old system. There's no good public transportation system, and you can't have public transportation with a city as wide and growing as wider and wider and wider. It's just not a good method. I think all these methods of relieving traffic are old. If you really want to relieve traffic, you need to have some kind of public transportation system, and in order to do that, you need to have the city more condensed, so it's cheaper and actually possible. It's not possible when you keep spreading the city out. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Alina Coriel.
She had a child. She's keeping
Okay.
quiet out here in the hall.
We'll go to number 4, Mr. Walton. If you can get her, we'll put her back in order. We'll jump to Sandra Ambrose, and then we'll pick Miss Coriel up.
Yeah, put her down last right now.
Okay. Our next speaker, Sandra Ambrose.
According to the Alabama Office of Water Resources, Alabama has more species of freshwater turtles than the rest of North America combined. 52% of continental species. According to the Alabama Department of Natural Resources, Alabama is home to 83 species of crawfish, more than any other state. Although it is not a species, a section of the proposed bypass endangers the aesthetic integrity of the M bend, a rare phenomenon located along Hurricane Creek that has been nationally recognized as a geographic anomaly. I looked at the final environmental impact statement that you've got out there, and it was written in 1998. You have to know that things have changed for some people since then. And also, I'm a bit concerned because both of these forums have been held at a time when students are not in school, either during Christmas break or during spring break. And as faculty at the University of Alabama, I must say that young people are driven by this because of the impact that it's going to have. We grew up in this area, we that grew up in this area had an opportunity to appreciate that creek and have great memories of that creek. And why is it that we hear that these concerns have been heard, but no one has answered them? I don't doubt that your conscience lets you believe that you have listened to the concerns and that the concerns have been heard, but no concerns have been answered.
30 seconds.
4 of Black Warrior River's 130 species of fish are already endangered, along with 5 of the river's 46 species of mussels, 1 of the river's 15 species of turtles, an endangered snail, and numerous other aquatic animals. I implore you to please consider the environmental consequences of this action, because Tuscaloosa is what we have. That's all we're going to have once that university, if anything ever happens with that university, that is something that we can hold dear to us unless we destroy it.
Thank you. Mr. John Walton.
My name is John Wathen. I'm your Hurricane Creek keeper, like it or not. I live at 5600 Holt Peterson Road in Holt. My comments this evening are about the EIS. This document is outdated and must be done over. To continue having these hearings, opening and closing comment periods at will, is a waste of both taxpayer dollars and valuable time that ALDOT could be utilizing to create a new and cohesive EIS using science and real data this time. Many changes to the conditions along the corridor, and in particular Hurricane Creek watershed, have occurred since the first incomplete EIS was done. The first document lacked substance and facts to back the claims of traffic numbers and environmental impact. The changes to Hurricane Creek, a TMDL requiring 32% reduction for turbidity throughout the entire watershed, encases the corridor from Crescent Ridge Road all the way to the I-59. ALDOT 5th Division consistently fails in their environmental practices for erosion control, and we see no difference in this project. Rare and endangered species have been identified within the corridor. The Corps of Engineers permit has not been applied for. The cost of that permitting has not been encompassed in the total cost of this project. The M-Bend Park and creek bank disturbance conditions in the Holt area have changed also greatly. The stream bank crossings will have to be mitigated to a tune of 1.5 to 1 feet of disturbance. Conditions in the Holt Cottondale area have included significantly since the April 27th tornado. First of all, the cost now associated in the EIS for residential replacement is only $20,000 per resident. You can't buy a vacant lot out there for $20,000.
30 seconds.
The cost of this bypass has been posted at $250 million. We think that's extremely lowballed. The average cost of displaced residents is $20,000. You can't even buy a vacant lot for that. The cost per bridge was once quoted at $15 million per bridge by the past director, Paul Boland. That cost in all likelihood is 6 or 8 times higher. It's time for ALDOT to come clean and do the required studies, providing all of the necessary data to show the environmental and economic impacts of this unnecessary project.
Thank you, Mr. Walton. Our next speaker is Marcia Burke.
Thank you. I live in the Towns of North River, a neighborhood that will be affected by this project.
As Mr. Robertson said, this has been being considered for the last 20 years or so, and yet during those 20 years, the city has continued to allow property to be developed, granted permits, and assisted with the development of neighborhoods, and has invested an awful lot in recreational spaces along this way, both Sokol Park and the Hurricane Creek area. The natural beauty of those areas and the quality of living is what attracted us to the neighborhood. We understand and support that progress and development in our city is needed. I, too, participate in the traffic wherever it goes or stops. And we understand that for us to make progress, change is necessary, and sometimes that requires sacrifice and cooperation. We would just ask ALDOT to consider the least invasive, the least expensive, the least environmentally dangerous, and the simplest way to try to get our traffic needs met. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Matthew Stevens.
How are you doing today? I just want to second what my brother said. My brother's Corey Stevens. I grew up in this town, and I think by alleviating traffic on McFarland with this project, you're also going to create traffic in other areas, and more congestion in other areas that previously weren't, and there's going to be further development and whatnot. So I find the whole argument flawed. And also, I'm biased. I grew up right next to Hurricane Creek, and I think it's beautiful, and I think it should be preserved. And I just disagree with the direction of this project, and hope it changes for the better in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Miss Alina Coriel ready?
You're going to go take care of the baby there, John.
Elena, you're up.
One minute. Second, let me get him the diaper.
Okay.
Need help? You can change diapers.
I think we got a minute.
We have an unsatisfied customer outside. We have a lot to be here today.
She's really worth hearing.
Ms. Carter, please state your name for us, and then you can begin.
Okay, my name is Alina Carell. Thank you guys for letting people come and speak today. I'm a little bit concerned, though, that this can't be quite the public forum that you guys intend for it to be if the environmental impact statement has not ever been made available online. People need to know. People need to know the options. They need to be able to think about the options, discuss them, prior to arriving and seeing a map laid out on a table. Oh, there are some copies of the EIS available as well, but as most of you know, it takes a long time to create one. It takes a very long time to look at one and sort through it and understand it. I think that since they were paid for with taxpayer dollars, it's important that I think it's 1998. Well, how many years is that? It's a long time, and I think it's long enough to scan it. I've started scanning some of it to make it available to our community online, and I hope that I will be able to share it with people. I'm a little bit disappointed and sad that it hasn't been done until now. I'm also concerned by some of the things that I've read in the EIS. I'm concerned that there is a trailer park that is going to be moved, that this runs straight through there. I'm concerned for those people. I wonder if that community knows how this is going to impact them. I'm concerned by lines that I read that said things like, the average person who's going to be relocated has a $20,000 income. That strikes me as a little bit discriminatory. I'm concerned that the people who are involved in making the decisions are not considering the well-being of the entire community and are considering the well-being of and the economic benefits of a select few companies that will be getting the majority of the economic benefits.
30 seconds.
Thank you. I'm concerned about the creek. I have kids that love going there and visiting. I'm concerned that we are not doing everything we can to protect it. And I'd just like to make sure that you guys are being honest, that this is a real public forum where people can discuss. I'm concerned that there won't be another one, and I hope that I'm wrong about that. That's it.
Okay, thank you. we've reached the end of those who had signed up initially. We'll have a brief period to see if any other people arrive late and do want to make public comment, and then we'll consider adjournment. We'll continue with two more speakers who've signed up to speak during the public forum. I'll remind them, since they're just joining us, of the 2-minute time limit. And first, I will call Tavares Griffin.
Good afternoon. I'm Tavares Griffin. I live at 1720 Hurricane Road, Peloton Park, the trailer park that y'all are affecting by bringing this bridge through there. My concern is, why now, after all this time, y'all decided to want to do an eastern bypass to where everybody that got in, got settled, got comfortable in the neighborhood, to where y'all just going to up and relocate everybody. When y'all just recently did a wraparound from the main intersection that is right there in Condell by the TA for the connect back to 2059 going back towards McFarland. Wouldn't it be easier to just build off for that, for this bypass, to stretch to wherever y'all trying to put this thing, instead of bringing it through people's homes, uprooting their lives out of where they've been for, some of them people's been out there for years. Unlike us, we just been there a year and a half, but we done got settled there. So it don't make sense to me, and this is just my opinion, to bring it straight through a whole community. Because it's not only that trailer park there, but you got houses around there too on Hurricane Road. So not only is you affecting that trailer park, but you're affecting the folks' homes that's around there and everything. When, to me, y'all need to relook at this thing and go a whole different route with it. Because there's many ways y'all can route this thing. Because if you take instance from Birmingham, they got bypasses on top of bypasses wrapping all the way around Birmingham, Minear. And Tuscaloosa is big enough for that, and it can be done. And that's what I think y'all need to consider and realize that y'all are affecting people's lives and people's jobs about the ones who work right there in the area.
30 seconds.
The schools right there, I know my nieces and them go to them schools in the area. My mother worked at the school system in that area. Y'all relocate us somewhere else, that's further for her have to drive. I mean, y'all need to take all of this in consideration and everything that everyone else said before just uprooting everybody's time. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Catherine Smith.
Hi. My name is Catherine Smith. I'm a student at the University of Alabama. I called my spring break short to come up here for this meeting, so I just felt compelled to say something after the first round. I did a lot of emailing actually before this forum to try to get students to come, and because it was just a really bad, poorly scheduled forum, they weren't able to. And so I just wanted to say that I've worked at the University of Alabama Outdoor Recreation Center for 3 years, as well as, like I said, I'm an undergrad student, and I've used that Hurricane Creek, the Para Park entrance specifically, as an area for recreation. Outdoor Rec does trips there all year round. And also I've used it as a classroom, an outdoor classroom for several classes. So I just urge you to make the best decisions for preserving its nicest spots. So thank you.
Thank you.
You know, if they intentionally took away the environmental impact statement that was out there, they told me it would be available after this forum, and the copies are now missing.
Someone's looking for that document right when I walked in. Someone was looking for it, and our folks are wondering where it is also. But I'll find out. I'll let you know.
And we have an additional speaker. Please help me if I get this this name wrong. I'm not sure that I can read part of it. Kenneth Robinson. Did I get it right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay.
I'm a little bit late. I'm sorry about this, folks. Things, jobs, all that stuff. My name's Kenneth Robinson. I've been a friend of the Hurricane Creek for over 30 years now. I've canoed and kayaked that creek extensively. I think what y'all are doing to the creek is a disaster. I see no way possible, being as in the construction field most of my life, as building bridges, concrete forms, and stuff like that. I see no way without making a major impact to this creek. I have photographs that's on my laptop right there. This is a sheer cliff area. I can't see any way possible for y'all to get your equipment down there without helicopters, without destroying the creek. We're losing our waterways tremendously throughout the years, constantly through mine drainage, through runoffs, through our creeks, through road buildings and stuff like that right now. Hurricane Creek has been worked on extensively for the past 20 years throughout people that I know and throughout our endeavor to make it a better place to swim, to enjoy our creek. I've been through the Appalachians. I've been through all sorts of different creek areas and seen what people have done, calling it bridges and safe ways and good ways. There's no good way. This is a jewel of Tuscaloosa County. We lose this, we've lost another major part of Tuscaloosa County. There's no reason for it. There's other ways of going around this. There's other ways of doing this. There's got to be a better way than destroying what little bit of life we have for Hurricane Creek for our children to enjoy.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
As in all, I'm totally against it. The bypass needs to be rerouted away from the creek. Down there last week, photographing it, lots of trash already. Why do we need more trash? Why do we need to destroy this creek even more than what it is today? Thank you for all, and appreciate all you're doing, and I hope everybody gets to understand what we're doing.
Thank you.
The environmental impact statement is back on the table.
Pretty quick, it's a big one.
We'll adjourn briefly, and if there are any other people who arrive who want to speak, we'll reconvene. Thank you.
To get a crowd, it's not. Don't start too quick, because we don't want you to use up. We don't want you to use up any of your 2 minutes before the crowd gets
So,
you.
are you ready for me to speak?
No, not quite yet.
You're going to tell me what
We're going to, she's going to
to get your crowd.
Bring the people back in, because we told them we would reconvene when we ran out of speakers, so she's going to let them know we've got another speaker.
They may be interested. There may be folks here who are interested in hearing what you have to say.
I'll look here and look at some of the places they've come across in the rivers.
We'll convene, and Ms. Myers, just to introduce the table here, my name is Tony Harris from the Department of Transportation. Dee Rowe is our 5th Division engineer, and to my far right is Transportation Director John Cooper. You'll have 2 minutes to make your comments, and at a minute and a half, the light will turn yellow, and at the conclusion of your 2 minutes, it will turn red, and I'll give you an audible cue at a minute and a half also. And our next speaker is Ms. Carol Myers. Ms. Myers, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Carol Myers, and I represent the West Alabama Sierra Group. I understand you cannot halt progress, but I do want to express my concern on 2 areas related to the Eastern Bypass. The first is environmental, and the second, I guess, would be environmental also. I'm concerned about destruction of the ecosystem at MBN. We've been talking about this for many moons, and I know it is inevitable that it is going to occur, but it makes my heart sad to think the loss of biodiversity that we may suffer in having this occur. Alabama has one of the most biodiverse environments in the country, and it is every day we're losing more and more. So I'm reminded of E.O. Wilson, and he said that our ecosystem at MBN is one of the most diverse in the world. So that's an issue. Secondly, I am concerned about urban sprawl. I had the pleasure of teaching at Hillcrest High School for many moons and started there in 1981 when we did not have Highway 69 South built. And I witnessed the loss of community as as 69 South grew and grew. So with the Eastern Bypass, I can envision those sorts of things occurring too.
30 seconds.
And that's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I've been hearing them applause.
Do we have anyone else signed up at this time? We will adjourn for the time being, and if we have anyone else sign up, we'll convene at that time.